Xicana Boxing here with super middleweight contender Diego Pacheco. Diego, for what I remember, you've been with Eddie Hearn since day one, right? With Matchroom, you've been there since day one. Now you're 24 fights in. How would you say your time has been with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, and how happy are you with your career so far?
I'm very happy. Yeah. When I was 17 years old, I was ranked #1 in the country as an amateur boxer in the U.S. and Mexico, which is the reason why I was able to get in touch with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. It was when they were first coming from the UK to the US, and I was one of their first signings in the US. Their youngest, I remember, prospect, I was 17 at the time, and they just, they've done a lot for me. They've put me in the biggest stages possible. I fought in Saudi Arabia,
Before everybody else was fighting in Saudi Arabia,
in the UK, all over Mexico, all over the U.S. So they for sure came through and put me on the best shows, and I'm grateful for that. And I wouldn't be here without them. So of course, I gotta say thank you to Matchroom and DAZN and everyone who's been involved in getting me up to this point. Now I'm a main event fighter. This is like my 6th or 7th main event now. So. I'm very happy with my career is going so far, and I think the best is yet to come.
Yeah, I mean, with the career growing, you also get better opponents and more, challenging opponents. You are facing Kevin Sadjo on your fight on Saturday, December 13th. He appears to be like a power puncher. He appears to have a lot of knockouts on his record. And you have been, if anything, criticized is for maybe sometimes getting hit a little too often. What are you doing like in the gym to kind of make sure that the highlight reel knockout's not going to come at your expense?
I've just been working in the gym every day. Like you guys may have known now, I've made a transition from Seattle back to LA, and I'm back with my coaches I grew up with. And I feel like these coaches know me more than any other coach out there. They've seen me grow from when I was 12, 13 to now being a grown man at 24 years old. And I just feel like, like you said, as the levels go up in competition, then we have to be more critical with the little details in all of our training. So that's something that my team right now is really being critical about. The little movements on defense, the little movements on the angles, not going so straight on the back line so straight, and just the little things that we've been working on, I feel will make a big difference. And December 13th will be another great win for Team Pacheco.
How do you feel about how the fans respond to a lot of things? Because, of course, when you were coming up, there was a lot more support and a lot lately, especially with the Makambi fight. There was some criticism and saying, kind of maybe should be putting him away. How do you respond to them? Because, they're not the ones in the ring, and they don't see how the adjustments that you have to make while you're in there.
To be honest, I really don't. It doesn't really bother me at all or faze me or take any sleep from me at all. I'm still doing my job, and I feel like I have to think about myself and my family, and really not too much about what anyone else thinks. Really, it's about getting the win, and that's what I did in my last fight. Is I won every single round. I didn't take any damage. I was able to go on a trip the next day and really enjoy life with my family. So I think that's what matters the most to me.
You've been preparing. I've seen you with Manny Robles people. I see you with Resendiz, who beat Caleb Plant. How did that connection come about? Or were you guys already connected before? And talk to us a little bit about that work that you get with Resendiz.
Yeah, me and Resendiz sparred years ago before I went to Seattle when I was maybe like 19, 20 years old. And I always knew he was a great fighter. Of course, Manny Robles and all these trainers down at Knockouts facility, they have a lot of great fighters. And when I was out here in LA, I was down at that gym a lot, getting a lot of work. So, it was no doubt that whenever I came back to LA, I was gonna go right back to Manny Robles' gym because they have great work for me. And yeah, that's where I've been sparring this camp. Bohacek, Terrell Guache, Resendiz, and Elias, I forget his last name. A lot of great fighters in there. I've been doing 12 rounds with 3 different guys, and I've been feeling great. I love being back in LA. Having my parents here and my siblings and everyone else who's been part of my team that I was away from for 3 years. It feels good to be back now, and I feel like I'm at home.
Talk to us a little bit too about that change, right? Coming back, because even though you say it's better for your career, you're better with your family as well, it's still a change, right? And you're very young. You were amicably split with the Benavidez team, but you had a really good connection with them. How was that transition, Al? I know you get that from home too, but how did that transition go as well?
You know, I'm very grateful for Benavidez and their whole family. You know, they received me with open arms when I needed somewhere to go, and I was there in Seattle with them for 3 years. So obviously I spent a lot of time with them. I got real close with them, and I have nothing bad to say about them. They're a great team. David, of course, is a great fighter. Junior is a great fighter as well, and I'm grateful for everything I learned down there. And I think it's just comes to a time where a change is needed. David actually moved to Miami, and Senior was spending a lot of time down there, so it was time for me to make my own team and really just branch out and, like I said, be Team Pacheco, not too much Team Benavidez.
Got it. That's great. I do see that this fight's for WBC minor belts as well as the WBO. If you do get past this opponent, would you have a preference, or if you had, if you could pick, which one would you go for, and what are you thinking?
I really don't have a preference when it comes to the sanctioning bodies. I just think whatever fight makes the most sense, and whichever one is given as opportunity is who we would go with.
We see that, Mbilli versus Hamzah Sheeraz got ordered right now. Obviously, that's a fight that you would be looking into. Who do you got in that fight?
I think in that fight, I'll pick Sheeraz to win. I think Sheeraz has good skills and power and everything it takes. I feel Mbilli's a one-dimensional fighter, and I think that's what would make the difference in that fight.
Who did you have with Mbilli and Lester?
I thought Lester was going to win.
Did you take on Lester, since I guess he's...
Definitely, for sure. Any of those guys are guys that we're definitely keeping our eye on and looking forward to making these fights in the very near future.
We talked about, you were one of the first ones to go to Riyadh before everybody was, before Turkey was really that into the sport, right? Would you go back now and, if you had to pick a fight, one of those mega fights in Riyadh, like what would, who would you pick, or for what belt, or what would that look like for you?
One of my dream fights is with Sheeraz. Sheeraz is a great fighter. I know Turkey loves him a lot, and I think that would be a great fight to make in Saudi, make here in LA, in Vegas, wherever it is. I know it'd be a great fight, and I think the fans would love that fight. I get some get back from my little bro Edgar Berlanga.
Yeah. Okay, lastly, you're one of the few fighters who is young but also very family oriented. I think the only one I see is Bam, who's like very, very family oriented. We get this myth a lot, especially, I'm Mexican, so a lot of señoras are like, you're not supposed to have your wife in the gym or your kids or have a wife before you even have your career finished, right? I still know a lot of fighters whose dads don't let them even have girlfriends and things like that.
For sure.
How do you change that into no, my family is the one that's fueling me, and they're ringside and your baby girl is there with you as well? How do you challenge that little stigma?
I think, to me now, my family is my life. My wife, my daughter, they come first before anything. And I think that's just how it's supposed to be. That's how my parents raised me. Obviously I have really, really good parents who to this day, they're here supporting me everywhere I go, so just something I learned from them, is always, even my mom told me when I told her that my wife was pregnant, she said, now you don't worry about us, now it's your family. Now you have your own family to worry about, and they come first. And that's just what it is, and of course, I can't lose sight of my goals, my career, my ambition and all that to become a world champion. That'll always remain the same, and now I just have someone to do it more for, which is my daughter and my family who counts on me.
Let the fans know where they can follow you and to tune in December 13th, or come by Stockton and watch you be main event again.
Yes, December 13th, I'll be back in Stockton, California against Kevin Lele Sadjo, live on DAZN. If you guys are in the Stockton area, come by, and if not, don't miss it, live on DAZN. And you guys can follow me on Instagram, Real Diego Pacheco, and Twitter, Real D Pacheco. Thank you.
Thank you, Diego. Appreciate it.